guess the yen-nikkei correlation is working as it should, right?
That's exactly what happens. There's a really strong correlation between dollar-yen and the Nikkei right now. And as you say, it's explained by the fact that equity holders do hedge their positions with the yen. But we've got to remember that although the dollar-yen rate did come off those overnight highs, the yen is a lot weaker than it was. There has been a lot of monetary stimulus injected potentially into the Japanese economy through the exchange rate. And I think right now that is probably the only really glimmer of good news for the Japanese government.
And when are we going to see that come through? When this yen weakness support the economy?
Well, of course, we should begin to see it coming through in the external balance quite soon. But, of course, there's a couple of caveats. And then that is, of course, that global growth isn't what we thought it would be by now. We've got a situation where the market's a little bit gloomy about the prospects for Chinese growth. And, of course, Europe hasn't really showed very much signs of growth at all this year. So it's more difficult to be optimistic about the Japanese external balance when you see these large parts of the world still very much mired in gloom. But, of course, the other thing that many Japanese business leaders have been concerned about is energy. We do have to remember that Japan does have to import a huge amount of its energy requirements since the closure of its nuclear power stations. But of course that pain has been eased by the fact that oil prices are lower.
Draghi testifying in the European Parliament today. I mean, it's this waiting game we seem to be playing. Any clues on QE, do you think?
I think the market will be watching just in case there are any clues, but I doubt if he's going to go any further than he went at the ECB policy meeting just a couple of weeks ago. And back then he said that the staff members at the ECB were perhaps preparing the way, doing some research, and I don't think he can go much further than that. We still have to see how the ECB gets on with expanding its balance sheet by the measures that have already been announced, and that's still quite early days, and I think we really will have to wait another few months at the very least before we get any more concrete signs that the ECB will announce quantitative easing.
So where's the euro dollar going?
Well, of course, we've seen it coming back with the dollar yen. I think led the way today. We saw the dollar strengthen a bit, and that pushed euro dollar a little bit higher. But I do think this is a slow burner, even though I think the market might be getting ahead of itself and pricing in that first Fed hike. Even though the Fed, I think, could slow the pace because there isn't any inflation in the US to speak of. I do still think that euro dollar will decline, albeit perhaps a little bit slower than many people in the market anticipate.